we are in business. It's because I hadn't selected something. That is why we were having that challenge. So, good evening again. Let me just quickly share my screen with you. All right, so that came up. I didn't want it to come up here. All right, so we are looking at, going through, as I mentioned, the health challenge, what it is, what we're doing, and why we're doing it. And just to make sure that we're all more or less on the same page. So let me pull that on full screen. And thank you again for being a part of the challenge and for investing in your health, because this is very, very important for us to invest in our health and well-being. So this is moving very quickly. All right, so let's, not sure why it's there. All right, so we want to look firstly at some fundamental principles as it relates to health. Some persons on the call have been in other programs, and so you're familiar with it, but a lot of us, we aren't. So I'll be looking at these fundamental principles to establish the foundation of this program, what it is built on, and why we have the focus that we have. But before I do that, for those who are unfamiliar with what we do, I'm just going to share a quick video so you can be apprised as to what our mission and our focus is. All right, it's not playing. All right. I'm not sure. I normally share this video at the beginning of my presentations, and it usually works pretty well. So let me close that share and reshare. Let me see what is happening. That's how the world of cyberspace is. But nonetheless, we will move forward, and I can share that at another time. Stuff like that happens. Not sure why it's happening this evening, because I had a presentation last Sunday where I used the very same video and it worked perfectly. All right, but as we go forward, it's very important for me to outline that the health information that I'm sharing here is not for anything else but for general education. It's not intended to be specific medical advice. So we're not offering any medical care, any diagnosis or treatment during this presentation. What is advised is that you consult your health professional before implementing any new exercise or lifestyle change. Having said that, let's go forward. So there are 8 fundamental principles to health, and these are what I want to share with you as we go into this challenge, this 30-day health challenge. So this quote from the book Ministry of Healing says, "Pure air, abstemiousness, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power, these are the true remedies." And these are the remedies that we want to talk about to lay the foundation for our discussion. So to first talk about the idea of trusting in God, and this speaks to our faith, and it also speaks to our mental health. Now, on the faith front, we are nothing without God. And so these principles, these health principles are very good, but without the God element, they can't they're not useful. So, you know, it is God who heals, it is God who creates, it is God who restores. And so that is why it is important to trust in God, trust Him with our problems, trust Him with our cares, trust Him with the things that bother us, some of the things that we can't utter to mankind. Interestingly enough, there is data out there, there's actually actual research to show that persons who are part of a faith community have better health outcomes. So it's not just something that I'm saying of, you know, just saying all willy-nilly. It is also scientifically proven that having a faith community that you belong to, that you're accountable to, that also sees itself as being accountable to you, is a very important protective factor as it relates to health. So be deliberate about your spiritual life and recharge your spiritual batteries daily. There is no true health without spiritual wellness. Our first principle that we want to talk about is our spiritual health, right? The next principle on our list speaks to access to fresh air. We need to get outdoors. We need to breathe clean, fresh air. We need to fill up our lungs, especially in that early morning period and the late evening. Fill up your lungs, you know, practice deep breathing. Hold it for a few seconds and release. This helps to calm you. This even helps with your blood pressure. Yes, it can help. Deep breathing, and there's a technique called diaphragmatic breathing. This can help with stress, with tension, with your blood pressure. And it also helps with digestion and sleep. When we are stressed, this causes a whole host of health problems. And so this is one way that we can bring our stress levels down. Also, we need oxygen to transport the blood, to purify the blood. And we know without, the Bible says that life is in the blood. Without good blood, without healthy blood, we cannot have a healthy system. So breathe deeply, get your fresh air. And a part of fresh air means too that we're going to keep our surroundings clean. Yes, so our surroundings are clean, and we don't use very heavy chemicals as well, these very sweet smelling chemicals. I won't call any branded names, but some of these cleaning chemicals that we use are very destructive to our health, especially persons, women, not persons, but women especially. These can throw off your hormones because they have what we call endocrine disruptors. So they disrupt the endocrine system, and this results in us having a whole host of hormone imbalance issues. So we keep our environment, the air in our environment clear, so we can breathe nice, fresh air on a daily basis. The next principle I want to share is the importance of drinking clean water. And with, I mean, at the beginning of this year, I think there was this whole movement about drinking water and minding your business. So I'm hoping that more people got onto the water train as a result of that. It's important to drink water. And, you know, we often, from I was a little girl in primary school, we heard that water is life. And this hasn't changed, and it will not change. Water is a very critical part of life, right? A very critical component. And the human brain and heart comprise over 70% water. Over almost 80% of our muscles and kidneys is comprised of water. In terms of our entire human body, somewhere between 60 and 70%, depending on which book you read or which school of thought you subscribe to. Somewhere between 60 and 70% of our bodies is water. 64% of the skin, water. The bones is 31% water. And to maintain this as adults, we need to drink somewhere about 2 liters of water daily. And there are formulas that you can use to determine exactly how much water you need, or to get a more precise estimate. But do know too that the more active you are, and when the time is hotter, you will need more water than you normally would drink. So that is our principle on water. Water does a lot of things for us. It helps, it's needed by the brain to manufacture hormones and neurotransmitters. It regulates the body temperature. Those are some of the benefits that you get from water. It helps with digestion. It flushes our bodies of waste, mainly through our urine, some of it through sweat as well. And through sweat as well, well, let me not say that. Water is also, it also, as I mentioned before, that we need oxygen through the body. Water helps with the delivery of oxygen throughout the body. So water is a very critical part of our health. Another principle is sunlight, access to sunlight. You know, very often we shy away from sun. For good reasons. It's uncomfortable to be in the sunlight sometimes, you know, especially now in the summertime when it's really hot. But it's important for us to get access to the sun. Whenever the sun hits our bodies produce a hormone, we call it vitamin D. It is one of the oldest hormones. It is critical for the development and growth and also maintenance of a healthy body from birth until death. We need at least, for us as Black people, this much melanin that we have, because melanin is protects against the sun. So the more melanin you have, the more resistant your body is to sun penetration. So because of that, our Caucasian counterparts need a lot less exposure to sunlight than we do. So we need about an hour exposure to sunlight daily. Older persons and persons with darker skins are at more risk for this deficiency. And also where you have digestive issues, you may also be more at risk for the absorption of vitamin D, or the production of vitamin D, production and absorption of vitamin D. So this is something that, you know, let us not be afraid of the sun. It is our friend. And as we go through this challenge, I'm saying, ensure that you're getting your sunlight. And if you have a work schedule that doesn't allow you to get much sunlight, you can also look into supplementing with vitamin D3. Another fundamental principle, and this is something that goes without saying, whenever we think about health, we think about nutrition. And in this program, we recommend a whole food, plant-based approach to nutrition. Just a fun fact, if you're suffering from high cholesterol, one of the first things you should consider switching to is a plant-based diet. Plants do not produce cholesterol. This is produced by our bodies. And so a plant-based diet can help you reduce your consumption of cholesterol. And with other lifestyle changes, you might very well be able, if you are disciplined, if you try hard enough with the different principles, you should be quite able to get your cholesterol back to normal. All right. The next tip is rest, and I want to add to rest relaxation. So rest speaks to sleep primarily, we know that. Rest, especially sleep, builds your immune system, and it also positively impacts your blood pressure, your moods, it impacts your blood sugar levels, it impacts your energy levels, it impacts, beyond just your moods, your mental health is impacted by your focus, your ability to absorb information. It is said that if we are awake for about 16 hours, I think, or more, somewhere there, our brain's ability to record or retain new concepts and make new memories is greatly diminished. So that is rest. Somewhere we want to get at a minimum 6 hours sleep per night, and we want to go to bed before 10 o'clock, because the later we go to bed, the more we impact our body's healing mechanisms or natural detox mechanisms that happen overnight, to put it simply. But there's relaxation as well. There's a need to take time off. So your vacation time, don't save it and take money in exchange. Take the time off, take a breather, take some time away from home, away from work. You might not have a lot of money to do an expensive vacation, but go to visit somebody in the country. Go to visit a friend somewhere else that will not cost you anything. You just walk with some food and contribute some food, and just take a breather. That's very, very important, very, very important for our mental and our physical health. The other health principle, we call it moderation. The Bible calls it abstemiousness, temperance. You can also call it balance. Now, I've heard many times the idea that we have around moderation is everything in moderation, but no, I want to submit a new and suggest to you a new definition, right? The definition I want to share with you is this, and you see it on your screen. It says, and this is from the book Child Guidance, written by Ellen G. White, Child Guidance, page 398. It says, true temperance teaches us to dispense entirely with everything hurtful and to use judiciously that which is helpful. The body should be the servant to the mind and not the mind to the body. So we're saying we're not going to take poison in moderation. We're not going to take the thing in moderation if we know it is not good for us. It's going to harm our health, because we know that our bodies are God's temple. And the Bible says that he who destroys the temple of God, him or her, you can add, because you know when the Bible uses him, it is speaking to male and female, man and woman. So when we're temperate, yes, we do things in moderation, but we don't do the bad things in moderation. We avoid those. So one of the other things that I want to share on is that of exercise, and we'll share exercise routines as we go along. We'll point you to persons who have what we believe are good routines. So exercise is very, very important, and daily exercise is even being consistent. You're not going to necessarily feel motivated. So don't wait on the motivation. Don't wait on this thing. Yeah, I'm ready to exercise. No, don't wait on that. Don't wait on that. And just if you have questions, just raise those hands. Because I'm streaming through YouTube, I've muted the mics. I'll open them up after I've finished the presentation, so you can ask the questions. But you can use the raise hand feature, and I will come in. 30 minutes of exercise each day will rid the body of toxins and strengthen your immune system. And I know people are busy, but strive for 30 minutes, 3 days a week. That's all we're asking for. That's all I'm asking you to do for yourself. I'm not asking for that. So let me say it differently. All I'm asking you to do for yourself, and I know you love yourself, what I'm asking you to do for yourself, what is that? I'm asking you to spend 30 minutes 3 times per day investing that in your health by exercising. And you don't need to go to a gym. You don't need to have weights. You don't need to have gym membership, nothing like that. Just 30 minutes of brisk walking daily will vastly improve your health. And we don't understand that some persons are at different fitness levels. Start where you are. If you can do 5 minutes, do it. And as your strength builds, when you find out that 5 minutes is not so difficult anymore, move up to 10 minutes, and you keep climbing until ultimately would hope that you'll get to the 30 minutes and possibly to an hour. So that is the main thing I wanted to share in terms of the fundamentals of health. These are our social media handles if you want to follow us on social media. What I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to share a resource with you that we used in a previous 30-day challenge. We use that, what you'd call it, we use that as a textbook for that challenge. We're not going to use it in the same way. It can serve as a guide. There are recipes there that you can use. There are tips there for fasting. So there are different things there that you can use. I want to give, I'm gonna send a copy in the group. I didn't want to send it beforehand, and persons were not sure as to what it was for. At this point, just gonna stop my share, and then I'm gonna pull up this book, and you can also ask your questions. And then I'm gonna pull up the book, and we will just have a scan through so you know what it looks like, so that you have the benefit of the book. And then after that, we will move into what the challenge looks like, what our goals for this week are, and then we'll have our question and answer. So let me pull up the handbook for you. Let me share my screen again. All right, I think you should be able to see it. If you can't see, just please let me know in the chat ASAP so I can adjust myself. So just to take you through the handbook very quickly, just to show it to you. So it has recipes, it has a meal plan. So this is the background, the overview, the same principles that I just talked about, they're outlined here. And if you look in the highlighted section, there are specific recommendations as to how to go about getting the best out of your sunlight, how to practice temperance, etc. So I encourage you to read this introductory section. It is very, very useful. I went through it now, but it's good to refresh yourself on that. Having laid the foundation, here's what the meal plan looks like. And like I said, you don't have to go through it as strictly. No, we have something for breakfast, we have something for lunch, and it goes day by day. There are 3 meals that we recommend, and the last meal, the third meal, is always very light. If you notice, herbal teas or fruits, a broth, there, you know, that kind of a thing, a chia pudding. And so you have them there, and then we follow that up with the recipes, right? So we'll refer to this from time to time, but we won't necessarily, you can use it as you choose, but we won't necessarily follow it the way we did in the first 30-day challenge, but it will be a resource that we'll draw on. All right, so just wanted to do that quickly, just to contextualize that document. So let us go back to our presentation. All right, so I went through the handbook quickly. Let's look into our challenge over the next 4 weeks. So as I said before, when I shared in the group, we have not written down week 4 because we are going through we're gonna do that based on the pace. And already based on how things went last week, I want to think, or it seems to me as though we are far beyond just the basic no sugar. So last week, for the first, well, this week just ended yesterday. We were looking at just getting some our basics or habits, you know, sorted through. So this week we're gonna push more with our no sugar and more water, and we are adding fitness to it. So we're starting the fitness this week. And then for the second week, we're going to talk about detoxification and cleansing with a specific emphasis on cleansing the liver. Now, why is this important? Many times, and I have to be careful of some of the words that I use here because some words seem to be offensive. But sometimes when we have the stubborn body mass that we want to get rid of, if we get rid of the toxins, then some of this is shed because toxins tend to be stored in our body's fat cells, right? So that's one of the reasons. Also, putting new wine in old bottles, you know, the Bible discourages us from doing that. So I believe that whenever we're going on a new health journey, a new lifestyle journey, it is very, very good to clean up our systems as we go forward. Then where the fitness is concerned, we'll look more focused on that. So we'll share different things this week, but in the next week, we'll expect for us to increase what we would have been doing on the fitness level. And then in week 3, we'll spend some more time on nutrition. So weeks 1 and 2 are largely focused on building our habits. And week 3 and going into week 4, we'll spend some time on nutrition. And I'm hoping to be able to do a cooking demo. If I can't do it live, then I'm hoping to be able to pre-record and share. So what are the challenges that we are going to do this week? And let me just point to the card on the right. What I need for persons to do for me for this challenge is to send me this information, your name, your height, your weight. I will calculate your BMI. If you already have it calculated, you can let me know. And also your waist circumference, right? So that we'll call it the size of your waist. these demographic, these this information, these numbers, please share them with me. And if you, some people are able to get your blood sugar reading. If you have that, you can also share it with me. So for this week, we're going to be aiming for 8 glasses of water or 2 liters of water, at least 30 minutes of exercise, 3 days per week minimum. We won't be adding any sugar to our diet. We're not going to be having any sweet snacks, any sugars. We're not going to be snacking between our meals. We started practicing that last week. So no sugar, no snacks. All right. And one day this week, we will go back to a gluten-free day. All right. So this is these are the basics: 8 glasses of water, at least 30 minutes of exercise for 3 days this week. We're not going to be adding any sugar. So whatever we're having, no sugar added. We're going to be reading our labels to make sure that there's no sugar added. And we'll also, we allow green juices for this week, because I know some persons, that's a part of your routine. Last week, we took it out just to allow us to understand what it means when we say no juice, but you can add your green juices this week. And that is my presentation. And I'm now going to open us up for questions and answers. But before we do that, I'm going to end the presentation here. So what you can do for those who are watching on YouTube, we'll have more presentations. So if you want to join us here, if you're not a part of the 30-day challenge and you're interested in this information, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, and you can also share it with persons who you think might find it useful. All right, so at this point, thank you for watching. And for those from the challenge, the Q&A, you won't be able to benefit from here because I want persons to freely ask their questions. So that's why we're ending the live right here.